Welcome to this special edition You've Got This podcast. On this episode, I am chatting to Jo Tutchener-Sharp, who is the lady behind Scamp Dude. This brand was formed in 2016 following Jo having a serious health condition and surgery. Since that time, it's gone on to become B Corp certified and has given over £1.8 million worth of product away, which includes 50,000 super scarves. The brand has collaborated with various celebrities and now has shops in Marlow, Edinburgh, Battersea, Cambridge and Manchester. And it all started from a hospital bed. Enjoy this episode. I think you're going to love it. So, I'm such a huge admirer of everything that you've done, and I love the whole vibe of Scamp Dude. It's so cool. But you had quite an unusual start to your business, didn't you? It didn't sort of... talk to us. How did you start Scamp Dude? Why did you start it?
So it all started, I used to work in PR. I'd spent my whole career working in PR, almost 20 years. And when my youngest was a baby, when I just had my youngest, I decided I had my own PR company, and I thought I can't keep living this PR world with tiny kids. So I was selling my shares in my own PR company, which is really hard, exiting yourself from your own business. It's emotionally very hard, but it's also really hard to kind of contractually and all of that. So it's a really stressful time. And fine, towards the end, it was getting really, really stressful. And I went to my mum and dad's, and they'd said, "What's going on with your face?" Because they could see this twitch in my face. And it wasn't like an eye spasm, it was a face spasm.
Oh, wow.
And they made me go to their doctor, like my old childhood doctor, and went in, and he said, "You're so horribly stressed. Something bad is going to happen if you don't just get rid of whatever in your life is making you this stressed." So that's when I went back and was like, right, I'll just take whatever the latest offer of my shares I will take. I'm not doing this any longer. I need to close this. And I said in the email, I said, "I am so stressed. Just been to the doctor. They say something bad's going to happen. I'm so stressed. I feel like my head is going to explode." And they are the words that I wrote to them, and finished it all up, closed it all off, and put that behind me, going, right, move on. And I was working on setting up a skincare brand with a friend who's in the beauty industry. And I was really excited about it, really getting to going with it. And then suddenly one day it had the most terrible headache, like someone was sticking a skewer in the back of my eye. It was horrendous headache, and I couldn't work. And I knew the fact that I wasn't working, something was really bad, because I'd worked through anything. And I literally couldn't even open my laptop. And to cut a long story short, I ended up in hospital. They thought it was meningitis, so they started treating me for meningitis put me in a room on my own. And then this doctor comes to me at 1:00 in the morning and says, "Okay, it's not meningitis. We found a lump on your brain and you've suffered a brain hemorrhage. Do you have any history of cancer in your family?" And my kids were 1 and 3 at the time.
Oh my God.
They were obviously at home. This was 1:00 in the morning. I was on my own in this dark hospital room. And then she just walked out. So she walked out of the room and left me on my own all night then, without anybody to talk to. And all night I was just thinking, oh my God, like my whole life has changed now. I cannot leave my kids without a mum. I cannot. That's all I could think was, I cannot leave my kids without a mum. So again, to cut another long story short, it turns out I was going to face brain surgery to remove it. And no one wants to face brain surgery. It's terrifying. And your mind goes to all sorts of places. And the biggest thing I could remember was the fear of leaving the kids. That was like my number one big fear. And the other thing was, it's true what people say about the pearly gates. Like, I was at those pearly gates, and I was looking back over my life, and I was thinking, what have I done to help people? Like, I know I've been a nice person, and I know I've been a good daughter and a good friend. I've never done anything I'm ashamed of. I'm not, but I haven't changed. What's my legacy? I haven't done any good. I haven't made a difference. Like, I've come onto this world and I've not helped anybody.
Gosh.
And I didn't realize until that moment that was so important to me. And that feeling that it might be too late is horrible. It's like this sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach, like, oh my God, I might not be able to do anything about that now, because this might be my time. And it was horrible, a horrible feeling. And I made myself a pact that if I made it through the surgery, next thing I did, I was like, I'm not going to do the skincare anymore. What I'm going to do, I don't know what it is, but it's going to be helping people. It's going to be making a difference. I cannot have this. If I get another chance, next time I'm at those pearly gates, I'm going to be going, yes, I've made a difference. I'm proud and I'm ready type thing. So went in for the surgery, saying goodbye to the kids and saying goodbye to my parents, and my husband was just horrendous. But then luckily came out the other side, and that feeling I'll never forget of like absolute euphoria when you come out in intensive care and you realize you're alive and you're like, oh my God, I was so happy to be given another chance. And I probably high as a kite on morphine as well. But
it all helps, but
yeah.
oh my gosh, I mean, gosh.
Yeah, it was I'll never forget any of it. But then the next thing, obviously then I'm in intensive care for a bit. When I moved to my room, I couldn't see my kids because this side of my head was shaved. I had 20 staples down my head, and didn't want them. I thought they'd never forget that sight if they see me like that. So I didn't want them to see me. So I had 10 days apart from them. And like I said, they were only 1 and 3. So that's a long time for a mother to be away from her children, but also for the children to be away from me. And I spent the whole time worrying about them and wondering what I could have given them that would have comforted them and would have made it easier being apart. And that's when I came up with, I've got one here actually, I'll grab it. That's when I came up with our superhero sleep buddies.
So awesome.
Because I thought, I wish I could have given them a little superhero, but a cuddly superhero, not one of those big plastic things. But I could have gone, right, this superhero is going to keep you safe. It's going to look after you. And then on the back,
Superhero has my back.
Or if there was a pocket on the back, I could have put my photo and said, Mummy's still with you. You hug onto this superhero. It's going to keep you safe, but Mummy's still there. I'm still with you. So they could have hugged onto me. And I thought, that would have really helped them. And then I thought, well, I'm going to make them. This is going to be my get well goal. And I'm going to make these things so I can help other children who have to be in the same situation. And then I thought, if I donate one for every one sold to a child who does lose a parent, because that's what I was worried about leaving my kids, or who's seriously ill themselves, then that can be my doing good as well. So I got so excited about making these little guys. And then that was absolutely my get well goal. And I came out of hospital and registered the name. Surgery was in the January of 2016. And I registered the name Scamp Dude in the March 2016.
Wow.
And then we launched into Liberty in the November 2016, but it was a full clothing line by this point. So
you work fast.
I did. It's amazing when you're given a second chance at life. It's unbelievable what you can do. Like, it really is. I had this fire in my belly. I didn't see any barriers. Before, if you'd have said to me, you're going to launch your own clothing line, I'd have laughed because I'm like, I don't know how to do that. But when you're suddenly given this second chance at life, you're like, I can do anything. I can find a way. And why the hell can't I do it? I've got another chance. I'm going to go for it.
Do you use that now? Because one of the chapters in the book's all about that kind of impetus. We make the plans, we do the planning, we analyze the plans, we pick them apart. But obviously you had such a short window between the idea and launching in Liberty. Now you just think, screw it. This is my chance. I've done the work. I'm going for it. What's your process?
So it's kind of evolved over the years. I think at the beginning, it was very much like I was just going to smash it and I was just going to do this and nothing was going to stop me. And there was bad things that came with that as well, insofar as I was literally on my knees because I was recovering from brain surgery. I didn't have any team. It was just me doing everything, doing the wholesale because Liberty launched us, doing the designing all the products, doing the the buying, so liaising with all the factories, doing all the figures, like all the numbers, like doing everything, which I think it's really important for me to be able to do that and understand the whole business. But also we were a brand new business. I couldn't afford to take on anyone. And there was a few moments where I look back and I think, oh yeah, well, you should have taken someone on earlier than you did. And one of them was Liberty had said to me, can we see your next collection? And I was like, what? I haven't designed another collection. What are you talking about? I haven't got any time to do that because I was up till 2:00 in the morning packing orders because I was still packing all the orders myself. And that was the moment my husband said to me, you need to get a fulfillment company. You can't be doing this. This is a waste of your time doing it. But I loved packing the orders, and I loved seeing who was ordering what, and I loved handwriting a note in all of them. But it was just it's grown so quickly that I just couldn't keep up. I couldn't keep up with the amount of orders that there were. So that was a big turning point, was going to a fulfillment house. I was so emotional moving it out of the house into a fulfillment, because it's like my baby going to nursery or something. I was like, look after it. They had all these notes. You have to pack it like this, and you have to do this, and I pre-write loads of notes, so they still got handwritten notes, and hilarious looking back. But
also it means so much to you. I mean, it meant so much to you then as well. It was like I've never heard of a business journey like this. It's not just you had this idea, or you needed to make some money, or you had this lovely thought. It was like a pact you made with yourself when you weren't even sure you were going to wake up. So there's so much emotion attached to that.
Yeah, exactly. So it has been little steps like that were really emotional. Handing it over to someone else, I wanted them to care as much as I did, which obviously they were not going to. But they did. But that was definitely the right decision, and then enabled me to then design other collections and move the brand forward and do collaborations and do all the kind of things that I should have been. And then it's knowing the right time to take on. So first of all, rather than taking on full-time staff, I took on some freelancers to help with certain things. So my sister helped with some wholesale for a little while, because it's funny, when you're starting a brand, you kind of look what other brands are doing and you think, well, this is what I need to do. I need to be in Harrods, Harvey Nichols, Selfridges. This is what you need to do. And it's so funny now. It's like, I know you don't need to do those things, but I was learning, and I thought we did need to do all of that. And now we're only with Liberty. I've stripped back all of our wholesale. So it was so time consuming, and you make hardly any money out of wholesale, and it can be quite tricky. So I decided to strip it right back. Liberty launched us. They've now launched our women's wear into their women's wear department.
Wow.
And because that was the interesting thing about Scamp Dude. So when I launched, it was the Sleep Buddies was the first idea. That I wanted a clothing line to go with it that would fill kids with superpowers and strength when they had to be away from their loved ones. So that could be going to nursery, going to school. And so the superpower button on every garment is our neon pink bolt, which is on absolutely everything. And that's to be pressed for superpowers when they need a burst. And our slogan, a superhero has my back, tells them that someone's looking out for them, even when they can't see you. So started off as a kids brand. And then over the years, I did launch 2 women's sweatshirts when I launched originally, just because when I was making them, I loved them so much, I wanted to wear them. And then those, Liberty couldn't keep them in stock. I couldn't keep them in stock. So I started doing other colours for women as well. And it just literally was going good. The women's wear was going like this. I was like, oh my God, okay. And then we were getting nominated for awards, and I was having to go up and collect awards wearing other people's clothes, because we only had loungewear at that point. So I'd started doing women's joggers and hoodies and sweatshirts, but you can't go in and collect an award at some glamorous do in a tracksuit. and I wear loungewear when I'm, on a Sunday, or if I'm at home, or that kind of thing. But the rest of the time I wear dresses. I'm a dress girl. I love dresses. So it's like, well, why am I not doing dresses? And part of it was I knew I had my factory, which is this very lovely, ethical, family-run factory in Portugal that I've had from the beginning. But when you go into dress, like, how do I find a dress manufacturer? And that was as we started growing the team, and I did bring in people, staff rather than freelancers. They had contacts with factories, and we could start expanding our range. And that's when we went into dresses, and that's when the women's wear really, really took off. And I think that was like 2019.
So not actually that long ago in the grand scheme of things.
No, the women's wear, I mean, even the loungewear the women's wear was overtaking the kids. It was going like this. It was very, very popular. And then dresses, when we brought dresses in, that's when it exploded. And now we've got the denim collection, and we've got outerwear, and we've got accessories, we've got bags. I've got a new bag, which I'll give you a little sneak peek of.
I love a sneak peek.
I just got the sample.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Isn't it gorgeous?
That's gorgeous.
So excited about that one. It's always like when we go through the whole process, and then when it arrives on my desk, it's like the production sample for me to kind of wear and try and trial. And I'm like, oh, I've been dying for this one. I love it. So yeah, it's the women's wear. That's been the that's been the big surprise. And again, if you'd have said to me at the beginning, I know I said I saw no barriers and I had fire in my belly, but I would have seen a bit of a barrier if you'd have said you're going to run a women's wear brand, fashion brand. Because I think there's one thing of doing kids and jersey, and there's one of, and I would have gone, no, I don't think I can do that.
No. I mean, have you kind of come across any sort of blocks on the way? Obviously, people have things like imposter syndrome, or they just have a lack of, they feel like they're lacking in so many ways, and that can really, really stop them in their tracks. I think you've got a really unique take on it, which I love. But you said that there were little things along your journey. You're like, oh no, that's not, it's not quite.
Yeah, I think probably my biggest point of that was probably in this past year when we've been growing so quickly, and we've been getting a lot bigger, and we've got 3 shops now. And I got to the point where I was thinking, oh my God, I just now feel very responsible for all our staff. We've got 50 people in our head office. We've got 30 members of staff from the team. That's a lot in the shops. I mean, so it's a lot of people that I'm responsible for. And I was starting to, and all as the company was, I was just starting to feel a little bit imposter syndrome, a little bit overwhelmed, a little bit kind of, oh my God, can I do this? Like hearing all these other brands not doing very well, like what happened with Jules and Kath Kidston and so many brands, Frugy, and you're like, oh my God, great brands. What's happened to them? Why has that happened? And then I was just thinking, oh my God, I don't want to break. I love Scamp Dude so much. I don't want to break it. And 2 things happened that really changed that for me. One was my husband has come into the business. So he had his own experiential events business, really wasn't enjoying it, was really stressed. And he kept saying, God, I'm so jealous about how much you love your business. And he's like, why don't I come in? And I was like, no, we have to keep this separate. We've got to protect our relationship. We can't do that. And then he'd said, well, he first said, I think we should open a shop in Marlow. And I was like, I can't even think about that. I'm so busy. I'm so swamped. I can't even think about it. And he was like, yeah, but what about if I do it? What about if I find the space? I do all the negotiations with the landlords. I do all the legal side of things. I manage the build. So all you have to do is tell me what you want it to look like. And kind of like, and then I was like, oh, okay, well, this sounds quite good. So we agreed this would be a trial to see what it was like working together. So we did it, and actually it was fantastic. It was so brilliant. We had a couple of moments where I didn't like something that he wanted to do in the shop, and it was a bit kind of like, but it was like a little learning. We go, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I didn't very nicely say, but it worked really well. So then I said, okay, yeah, come on in. And I don't think I really realized how much of an impact that was going to have, him coming in, because I thought, well, he hasn't worked in retail before, so is he going to be able to really, what's his role going to be? And then he comes in and he's so brilliant with processes and organization systems, which I'm not as good at. So he's come in and gone on the kind of operations side of the business, he managed the 2 new store launches. Wow. I've been wanting to go through the B Corp process for years. Yes. But it's huge, and it couldn't happen. I didn't have the capacity to do it. So he was like, I said, well, that can be another thing you do. And we've just got our B Corp certification really cool now. But it was him that drove that through, and then the team obviously working really hard on it as well. But it's been brilliant, and the difference it's made to me having him in the business, because there's someone who cares as much as I do about the business, but there's also another person who really, really gets it and can complete, and someone else that everyone can go to. And it's not like bringing an outsider in where people might have been like, oh, well, who's this? It's like they all knew him. He was always around. He was always part of the family type thing. So that's been one thing that's really, really helped. And the other game-changing thing for me was I went on a business course. So I joined the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business course. So I joined this group called By Women Built. So By Women Built.
I have spoken. I interviewed Joanna Jensen, the podcast for the book, and she talked about that. There's like Lemonade is part of it, and
I haven't been as involved with them as I want to be because I've been too busy. But I was asked if I wanted to join. I was like, yes, it sounds brilliant. And I haven't actually made it to their events, but I'm going to. It's one of my things. Like next year, I want to go to more of those events, meet more female business owners, but I think it's great what they're doing. And they'd sent me a message going, we've been asked to put some people forward for Goldman Sachs and we think you'd be great. Would you be up for it? And I was like, what is it? I researched and went, yes, I definitely would. And it's a really thorough interview process. Like you get grilled by, but you have to fill in an application form that's like pages and pages, pages long. Then you get absolutely grilled. And then you have to wait to find out if you got on. So they get like over 1,000 applicants, and they choose 70 entrepreneurs all over the spectrum. So they could be construction firms or like all sorts. And I got a place. And so I've been on this course. I don't know what I was thinking starting in September. It's the busiest time of the year. September, October, November, December, like hideous for any retail business.
Yeah.
And I joined the course then. I should have, they do two different lots. So I could have joined it in like January. I'm like, why didn't I do that?
No, go big.
Yeah. So you go on these residentials where you go and stay, where you stay overnight for 2 nights, and you're just in lessons. It's with Oxford University, with the Syed Business School. You get professors from Harvard coming. Like all best business brains are teaching you and lecturing you about every single part of the business. Absolutely fantastic. I loved it. And it has just made, I went into it feeling like I had a slight imposter syndrome of, can I really take this business from the size we are now up to this? And now at the end of it, I'm like, I can do this. Wow. And so that course has been game changing. Absolutely brilliant. And you come out with it basically do like a big dissertation, which is a 3-year business plan, growth plan.
Wow.
So out of it with a 3-year business plan, which is incredible.
Cool. I guess it's a really good case for like never stopping learning, because it's whenever you are moving up the levels, you've just got so much to learn at every stage, haven't you?
Definitely. You absolutely have. And also the world is changing. So you've got to keep learning. And this is what I find when I'm interviewing some people who look on paper like they've got great experience, but then you're going, but your experience is like from 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You've got to keep up with, you can't go, oh God, I don't like social media. I don't understand digital. You've got to go, no, I've got to embrace it. I've got to understand it. I've got to get it, because you've got to stay relevant. And the learning thing, I absolutely love learning. Like I've just finished that and I feel a bit sad because I'm not going to be learning. And I was like, maybe I'll do like
I get that completely.
Other course, or maybe I'll do.
No, I did. I completed my ILM level 7 in coaching and mentoring kind of executives and seniors, and I was like, brilliant. Now what can I do? And my husband's like, you've got a book to write. You've got your actual job to do. I was like, I really miss the learning and the like really pushing yourself. So I completely get that.
Yeah, learning bit is great.
Another thing about the Scamp Dude brand is it's not just like a clothing brand, like a insert name of high street shop brand. People are like full on hardcore addicted to it and its mission. And there's a bit in the book where I talk about kind of tribes and the community. Your community is next level, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, and you've got your customers, you've got celebrities that endorse and support. Obviously, we talked about the super scarves. These are people that are not just saying, oh, I like the brand. I know when we spoke about earlier, Sarah Davis, I've seen her in Scamp Dude all over her social media before you announced the Super Scarves collaboration. How have you built such a brand? How have you worked with these collaborators?
So generally community, I think because my background was PR, I've always understood the importance of community. I'm also a very sociable person. Like I've always interacted with our customers a lot on social media. So I think that helps build that community, but also having purpose at your core. So we've got our missions, like the Super Scarf mission. I mean, we've donated, it's 38,000 scarves now we've donated.
I was watching a video, TikTok or a reel, you said 30,000, but 38 is just...
it was the last one was 33,000 last week, and now we're at 38,000, we were told yesterday, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing.
So cool.
So, and we've got our superhero sleep buddies, we've donated, it's almost 7,000 of those. And we have our missions, and people, I think they understand my story as well. They can put themselves in that situation and imagine how that feels. So there's an emotional connection to Scamp Dude. And then our missions, they want to be part of those missions, and they feel so proud when they buy a scarf because they know a lady having a really terrible time about to start chemotherapy is going to get a scarf. And that's something you want to be part of. And then the community, so we launched our Facebook group, Scamp Duders, and that's where really that came, because I was recognizing the same people were always chatting on Instagram, and I actually reached out to 3 of them who I'd become friends with from just chatting on Instagram, and they were some of our biggest customers. I reached out to them all and said, "Do you want, can you all jump on a Zoom for a minute?" Because they started a little chat between the 4 of us.
Oh, wow.
So we got on a Zoom, and I said, "Would you like to be admins for a new Facebook group I'm starting? So you'll get the staff discount in payment for doing it. And basically, you're just admins on this Facebook group. So you just make sure people aren't mean, or, just to monitor things. And because I'm going to launch this Facebook group for the Duders. So I've said I'm calling it Scamp Duders, because we call our customers Duders. And they were like, yes, we'd absolutely love to. And they're so lovely. So we launched it, and that just went off. So it's about 12,000 in that group, and they're the kind of hardcore Scamp Dude fans. So they constantly posting pictures themselves wearing the clothes, styling tips, showing people how it fits and all, and then helping each other. So they'll go on and they won't even be talking about anything to do with Scamp Dude. They'll just go on and go, "I'm having a really bad day today. I'm feeling really low." And then the Duders pile in with, "Don't worry, go for a walk," like supporting each other. Or someone's like, "Mum's not well," so they go on to do this because they know they're going to get a massive hug from everybody, and they'll go, "My mum's not well, I've just found out this." Everyone piles in, just being so lovely and supportive. And if they see someone else wearing Scamp Dude out and around, they either go and speak to them, or if they're feeling a bit shy, they just shout "Duda."
Oh, wow. So it's actually, it's really extended that community from social media
Yeah,
to a group, to real life. When you see
yeah,
someone, you're like, but I think because your products are so noticeable. I was at Theo Pavitas' Small Business Sunday event last year, and a lady on the stage, oh God, from NatWest, Denise, was in a full-on Scamp Dude dress. And I said to the person next to me, I went, "That's Scamp Dude." I wouldn't have been able to tell you if what anyone else was wearing on
yeah.
stage.
But I think it's also the superpower button. So even if it's a plain, like this is quite a plain, it's got big beaded
Oh God, that's
lightning bolt
awesome.
on the back. But because it's got this, you can see it everywhere. Like on telly, people always know it's ours when they see people on TV wearing this with the lightning bolt. And I think that's made a big difference. So up on the street, even if they go, "Ooh, oh yes, it's Scamp Dude," so they'll go and say, "I like your Scamp Dude," and then they all put it on the group. I saw someone, if you're on this group, "I saw you on the high street. We had a quick chat. Hi." And then we hold regular events in all our shops as well to bring the community together. And we had a Christmas event in the Marlow shop, and there were people who had come from, there was the Isle of Wight, there was people from Mansfield, people had driven. They were all trying to beat each other with how far they'd driven. I've driven 3 hours to come to this event. I've driven 4. I've driven it, and
Oh my God.
it's incredible. And even when we opened the shop, and when we opened the first shop, well, I had a little shop in Highgate, North London first, but when the first proper shop was in Marlow, and the morning I opened it, the team were in getting it all ready. I was getting myself ready at home, and my dad dropped me in. And as we were driving up, I was like, "Oh my God, this is massive queue outside." People have been queuing since like 6:30 in the morning to come to the opening of the shop, and it was all around the block. And my dad drove me up in his blue Ford, and out I stepped, and everyone squealed, like screamed, because I was getting out the car. And I was like, "Oh my God, if I'd known I was going to get a reaction like that, I'd have come on a white horse like Bianca Jagger and come up the road." Rather than my dad's blue Ford. I was like, "Oh no, this isn't very glamorous."
It must be so cool though, knowing that not only have you made like a really good business that's supporting, say, 80 odd people sort of day to day with their income, but actually it's so much bigger than that. It really is a movement. It's not
Yeah.
just clothing, it's something that unites people, that they feel a connection towards, that just means so much more than just what they're wearing.
Exactly. I feel like it's a force for good, because we're encouraging our customers to help people as well. We're encouraging our customers to be kind, because they see how we behave to everybody. Like anything we can do to help people, like any child who's diagnosed with cancer or is going through a hard time, we'll send them the seat. But they see us just doing that. They see us donating a scarf for everyone sold, and They know we don't make money out of them. We just go, the profit goes to donating the other one. And we're going, this is what we're about. We want to, and it encourages them to do that too. And you see them doing it on the group, like sharing. One of them had bought one of them. She never even met them, but she knew she was going through a hard time. So she'd bought her a scarf. One of them has sent our superpower button tags that are on all the clothes, these things. And on the back, it gives you some superpowers that you can get if you press your superpower button, like the kids ones: expert, fairy finder, loud dinosaur roarer, crazy cool shapeshifter, that kind of thing. But they cut them all off and they collect them, and then they'll send it to anyone who needs them. Like it's just the most lovely group of women ever. But I feel like we're encouraging people to do more good, to be good and do more good by doing good ourselves, which I love. It is a movement for good. It's lovely.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
You're
you.
amazing.
Nice chatting.
I absolutely loved it. And thank you so much for making the time. I really appreciate it. I know how busy you are. So
That's all right. You're very welcome.
Take care and we'll catch up soon.
Great. Bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye. I hope you've loved that episode. If you want to find more about Scamp Dude and look at the incredible clothes, of course you do, go and have a look at www.scampanddude.com and also see Scamp Dude on Instagram, or you can follow Jo personally at Scamp Dude Jo. And if you haven't got the book yet, head on over to Amazon, any of the amazing places where you buy books, search You've Got This and pick up a copy. You will not be disappointed, and you'll hear from Jo in addition to lots of other incredible people in the covers.